Zach here. Let's go over some tech. All right, I want to start off by talking about the gear that we are using inside the RV for this trip. We're using all sorts of equipment to make this happen on the road, and I thought it would be really fun to share with you all exactly how it's getting done. So let's start with the image, the cameras. I shouldn't say it like that. We're using basically 5-year-old cameras because, believe it or not, this Sony FDR X3000 gets the job done. It's got amazing stabilization, great auto leveling, great white balance, does pretty well in low light. So we've got 4 of these set up around the RV, one pointing directly towards this station, one pointing our front seat for driver and passenger, and then one out the front. When running long HDMI cables, especially mini to full-size HDMI, we had to make sure that we were using the Redmir chipset with these cables. Otherwise, the signal wasn't strong enough to be registered by the Blackmagic ATTN Mini Pro. So make sure if you're ordering some long HDMI cables, check and see if they have the Redmir chipset in them. It does make it more expensive, but you're gonna get a much more solid connection. So if you're getting a black screen when you hook those up, that's probably what it is. For each individual that the camera's pointing at, we're using these Rode wireless Go's to capture the audio. We've got 4 of them, just like we have 4 cameras, and we have those set up on a ridge in the middle of the RV to help get overall better signal. Now we probably might even be using some Rode lavalier Go's outside of the Rode wireless Go. The naming on these Rode wireless Go, Rode lavalier Go, these are great on their own. They're absolutely wonderful. I'm a huge fan of these, but it can be a little clunky and awkward having these on all the time, so we might be using the lavalier Go. So our audio and video are technically coming all the way over to this side of the RV separate. We're running all of our audio into this Tascam DR701D, all 4 of our signals running into that, and then we're combining those down to one signal and plugging them into the main event here, the Blackmagic ATTN Mini Pro ISO. It allows us to do actual camera mixing from right here inside the RV. It's like a full-on video studio right here in an RV moving down the road. You've got your cut, auto, fade to black. You can do picture-in-picture if you wanted to. You could do keying if you wanted to. But the key thing we love about this one is that the Pro ISO model here, it allows you to actually record a timeline track for DaVinci Resolve with ISO captures of each camera input plus a cut down. This saves us so much time when we're recording 8 hours of footage sometimes on the road. This is allowing us to hand off a hard drive directly to an editor. We're using those Samsung T5 drives, which are absolutely awesome. You can just plug it in, hit record right here on the top, boom. Now let's say that we don't want to deal with this giant file size and shipping a hard drive to our editor back in Los Angeles. Well, then we also have the video assist that we're using here, which allows us to record off of an SD card directly on the monitor, and we can record like a ProRes LT file if we just need something for social media or YouTube. Now that is going to be whatever our actual program out is of our ATTN Mini. It's just gonna be what we have before we send it to the backpack and then out to stream. So between the Blackmagic design equipment and the Teradek equipment, which we'll get into in a little bit, I mean, I realize you're gonna see my code. If I type it in right here, you just, here, you know what, we're gonna, just, don't look. I wanna give a special shout out to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. See, here at Hyper, we're making a cross-country road trip in the middle of a pandemic to learn more about the country and hopefully about ourselves and hear some inspiring stories along the way. And Skillshare was instrumental in getting us prepped to start going out on this trip. But some of you might be asking, you know, what's Skillshare? Well, Skillshare is an online class or service that offers online classes for creatives to learn more about things that they might be interested in, like photography or video. I myself have watched a lot of the video instructions, obviously. I'm making really good content. I gotta unhook my feet. You know, it's just one of those things. So Skillshare offers, you know, all sorts of creative classes to help creatives. You know, and these lessons can help you stay inspired and exploring things that you may not know enough about to help you broaden your arsenal and, you know, strengthen your toolkit. There's no ads with Skillshare, by the way, and they're always launching new classes, so it's really exciting to have a membership, which is only like less than $10 a month for a full year. So you're always seeing new stuff pop up, which is really, really great. Some of the classes I took to get ready for this trip was creating a modern cinematic documentary with soul, and that was done by Dan Liu. I don't want to say the name wrong, obviously. And video on a budget, prepare for your shoot without breaking the bank. That was provided by Christopher Rhodes. But I know a lot of you in our community are interested in dipping your toes into creative storytelling and, you know, strengthen your arsenal with some knowledge. So check out our link in the description below. The first 1,000 people to use that link, you're gonna get a free trial of Skillshare Premium membership. So like, stop thinking about doing it and just doing it. It's an invaluable tool to help strengthen your skills as a creative. So thanks again, Skillshare. I really got to get back to getting these bikes off of here. They're not budging. You know, typically when we're operating a stream here, we're gonna have our ATTN Mini outputting to the video assist, but then we can monitor our signal and our output through the Teradek servers right here on this tablet that we can control for output to Twitch and wherever we're sending it, RTMP, all that. Again, I'll cover all that in another video. So the cameras that we have set up pointing out and at our seats are not the only thing that we're showing here inside the RV. Let's say Malika wants to do some cooking, or somebody just wants to get a little bit of crazy stuff covered in the RV, or if we're putting names up on the refrigerator while we're going down the road, we have these awesome, oh my God, it's so heavy, these Elgato weighted bases that just dropped not too long ago that are actually really great inside the RV. The fact that they're weighted down allows us to put them and move them around quickly. They're more stable than a tripod, and you can see on the top of each base we've got one of our nice Sony cameras, a mountable battery pack, and the next thing I want to talk to you about, these little Vaxis ATTN 500 RX wireless transmitters that we have set up. We've got 2 of them. That's these 2 extra cables that we have running right here. We have 2 receivers up on top of the fridge at the highest point inside the RV, running USB power to them. And then we have a couple of these set up, one on this little weighted base that we can move around the RV. That way we don't have to be cabled down and we can just quickly plug this in, jump around wherever we need to go. And another right here on our drone. If you've been watching for a while, you maybe have seen us in our live streams switching to our drone live in the moment, and that's pretty much how we're doing it. Through the DVI Magic controller here, there's an HDMI out that sends a clean feed directly into our wireless transmitter that we receive here at the Blackmagic ATTN. So we can step outside of the RV with our microphones on, since they're wireless as well, and we can take the drone up in the air and show you drone shots of wherever we've just parked live and in real time, which has been one of our absolute favorite things to do while we're on the road. We're using the Mavic 2 Zoom. Couldn't afford the Pro. This shit gets expensive. We spent so much money on this stuff. It's expensive. But it's great. The fact that we can output live footage from a drone it's wild. Technology's great, man. So the next thing I want to talk about is how we power everything, because we're on the road. And as you know, when you're inside of a car or something like that, this is a lot of stuff. So we installed a Renogy 400 watt solar power system in this RV to keep us moving with power as we go down the road. We have 4 panels on the top of the RV. They are the Eclipse model, so they're a little bit more efficient. We have a 40 amp controller above the microwave, and then we have 4 100 amp lithium batteries underneath the RV that allow us to get power all day long while we're on the road. It's pretty much using it almost the same rate that it's charging. That to me is wild. That's 2 things there. It's crazy that we have that kind of power from the fucking sun. But 2, all of this equipment is crazy efficient. As an old school video guy, just the fact that we can power all of this stuff with so little power blows my mind. It's phenomenal. This monitor is probably honestly, the video assist monitor probably uses up the most wattage and amperage of everything in our kit. Overall, I've just been extremely impressed with how much production we can get done inside of a moving vehicle powered by nothing but the sun. As far as things that maybe I'd like to make better in this setup, I think it'd be really cool to have a better camera facing out the front as we're driving down the road. It really surprised us on our test trip how much people liked that front camera facing out as we're driving through places. And it also made us realize we take for granted a lot of the scenery in America as we're driving, and our viewers might be tuning in from all over the world and they've never seen California, they've never seen Texas, and being able to cut out from that front view has been really neat to see people react to that as we're driving through national parks, etc., etc. And overall, I would just love for somebody to come up with the next version of this camera so we don't use them anymore. I keep thinking a GoPro will do it. Like a GoPro, you get so close. You get so close, GoPro. We have the new Hero 9, which we'll use for little vlogging stuff here and there while we're on the road. But you gotta have the media mod to do HDMI clean out. The media mod sold out like the second the GoPro went live online. As you all know, in the times of COVID, you can't really buy anything anymore unless you're some YouTuber with a huge connection to get stuff sent to you ahead of time for testing and for free. How do you become a YouTuber that gets stuff? But I hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into the equipment we use here in our RV, our mobile studio, as we're going down the road in Travels with Hyper in search of America. If you have any questions, just feel free to ask. Hit me up on Twitter at Zach Eubank, ZACEUBANK. I love talking tech and would love to talk about all the stuff that we've done to make this RV as decked out as possible and bring you really cool footage from the road. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll be showing you some more and diving deep next into our on-the-run IRL setup, as well as our bonding setup to get signal when we're out in the middle of nowhere. Thanks a lot, everybody. Bye.